Hello traders, welcome to another trading week, June 30 to July 4. I hope you guys had a good trading week last week. Yeah, I gave a lot of good signals for those that are following my channel. And you want to be part of that channel, I'll drop the link description in the at the bottom of this video description so you can join. Regularly updates are being posted there. Some of those analysis that are being done right now, at some point, there used to be changes and there used to be updates. And so when those manifest, I do post them there. So which is why I want to be part of that. So it's just a channel, meaning that it's not really going to be too many noise going around in the channel. It just, anytime there's update, I post it there. And then, yeah, if you like this video, if it has been very helpful for you, don't forget to support by liking and also maybe sharing with some of the fellow traders out there. Yeah, we had our training for those that wanted some kind of intermediate level training. We had it yesterday, and it was successful. In fact, there are a lot of testimonies that came through even while we're having the training. And so if you want to be part of it, it's still made very much available. We just had day one and then it was recorded. Even if you're not part of it, we're not in the class in the live, you can still have access to the recording. I'll just give you access if you want to be part of it. Yeah, so yeah, so like I said, there are lots of good testimonies about it, eye opener, full ground, teaching skills, and all that. You guys are so awesome, and we're very sure that the second day training is even going to be much more high opener. I have a lot of information that I'm going to be disclosing to you guys, and so just like I said, if you want to be part of the training, it's still very much available. It's also being recorded. You can have access even when we're not in the class. And then you can also be part of the channel that was just mainly opened. And sometimes I do post updates there and also trade signals and a whole lot of information out there. So now let's start. I'm not going to be wasting too much time this time around. What I want to do right now is to quickly go through some of the fundamentals that we have that may most likely be happening during the week. USD, most likely it may show some strength. As you guys know, US dollar has been weak all this while. It has gotten to a very key what do you call it? Let me be sure that I'm sharing the entire screen. I need to be sure about that. Okay. So it has gotten to a very strong support level. This is the US dollar weekly time frame. We have been looking at this all this while. It has gotten to a very key support level right here, and there's every tendency that even if it's going to be going all the way down, we may have some reactions around that point. So, what I feel my expectation for USD for some time now, my expectation for USD is initially supposed to be strong when it got to yeah. So initially it was supposed to be strong when it got to strength around here. It looks as if it broke out of that um, downward trend, but eventually it's reversed and even kept on going bearish. So as it is, the level is still being watched very well to be sure whether we're going to be reacting, whether there's going to be rejections around this point or not. But as it looks, since we are at a very strong support line, it is every tendency that it's going to first retrace a little, even if you want to break. So the overall trend for USD still remains bearish, but currently we may have some pullback. So I'm expecting that, price may most likely, come to retest this area and then most likely giving us some kind of sideways correction for us to go down. So for this week, I'm expecting USD to show some strength, and also backed up by the fundamental that we have. We have some payroll focus and Fed hawkish bias plus safe haven demand, and there's every tendency that USD may be strong. And also Swiss francs, haven't flows, NSB status quo, remain status quo. So Swiss francs may also be strong. I will confirm that with the technical analysis. I'm also expecting some strength on Japanese yen, which you are going to be seeing very soon. I'm going to show you the analysis. For CAD, I'm expecting some strength also, even though fundamentally it remains kind of neutral, but I'm expecting some strength and then later on some weaknesses. But for pounds, I'm expecting weaknesses. For euro, weak. For Australian, weak. And then New Zealand, I'm not really sure about that. Maybe because there's no fundamental that is coming up this week, but we're going to look at it together. But most likely, we expect US dollar, Swiss francs, and Japanese yen to be strong, and possibly also CAD, and then the others may most likely be neutral or weak. So for this, I'm expecting weakness on USD, and then for pounds have been strong all this while, but is in a diagonal structure, as you can see right here. And there's every tendency that they may pull back at some point. So I'm expecting some pullback around here. Which may most likely get to this level. So which means that for the coming week, we may most likely see GBPUSD selling. So let's go to GBPUSD chart. GBPUSD chart, which is this. So ultimately, it's currently even in a diagonal structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have it somewhere around here. So there's every tendency that, if price gets here, we will start looking at the possibility of having a rejection or a reversal around that spot. So for GBPUSD, I'll go to my bias right here, and then I'm going to be setting that up to sell. It's already on sale anyway. So then the next one right there is yen. For yen, price have been trading in this channels, long range channel, and then it's just halfway. I feel that we may experience some strength here because now we have a rejection and then price is moving sideways, and there's every possibility that we have it up to this point. So if this happens, then we should be expecting strength on yen. However, if it breaks above this point, then planning to retest this zone, then it means that yen should be weak. So for me, once it doesn't break above this level, I should be looking at strength on Japanese yen. So based on that, if we go to US dollar Japanese yen chart, we should be able to see some interesting thing here. And so if US dollar is going to be strong and yen is also going to be strong, we may still have some range bound movements for US dollar Japanese yen. But I'm looking at this structure where if yen becomes much more stronger than Japanese yen, if yen becomes much more stronger than US dollars currency, then we may most likely have it sell up to this point. So for me, I'm looking at a sell on US dollar Japanese yen upon other confirmations. So for that, I'm going to update this to sell, which is already in sell. And then for GDP Japanese yen, that's pounds yen. For pounds yen, we have this, which is still gaining some strength. But at the time that US dollar, at the time that pounds become very weak and Japanese yen become very strong, we should expect a reaction around here. So I'm just going to be putting my line here that represents the possible area where I want to sell based on the structure that we have right there. So for me, I'm looking at a sell on the Japanese yen after price get to that PRZ zone. So for GDP JPY, remain sell. Then the next one that we should look at is euro. So for euro has been strong all this while. It has been very, very strong, very, very strong. So I'm just trying to see to what extent we expect the strength to get to. Most likely, maybe somewhere around here. And so, and so, we may most likely get to that point. So any sell or any weakness on euro is just a correction. We are still most likely going to be getting up all the way to that point. Let me switch in the pivot level to see. So we have some kind of R3 around there. Out of the monthly pivots, the monthly pivot also confluences with what we have around there. So there's every tendency that euro may be strong for some time, but we should expect some kind of weakness for the time being based on the structure that we have in front of us. So for the euro, I just feel that we are going to be having some correction for this week. Most likely price quest coming here and then coming all the way down here before we then eventually start going up. So for this week, I'm expecting weaknesses on euro. But if it changes, then I'll give updates in the channel. So for euro USD, I should be expecting sell. On that. So let's go to the chart and confirm that euro USD. Yeah, so euro USD has been, trading bullish all this while, but there seems to be a level where it may want to pause. This is not so good a trade for us to be able to take unless there is very good confirmation of the euro weakness. So at any time that I am able to see that euro is weak in the currency strength meter, that's when I'm going to be looking for a potential sell on that pair. So for here, we're expecting euro to sell. And then the next one is EURUSD. For EURUSD, I'm also expecting some kind of sell around there. If euro is weak and Japanese yen is strong. So for that, I should check if sell. I think for every other ones that have not even talked about, I should just delete them so that I don't get confused with them. Okay. Yeah. So then for the next one, which is going to be Euro GDP. For Euro GDP, let's look at what we have here. For Euro GDP, price is moving in this manner, and then it seems likely that it's currently correcting in this, and it's most likely going to get here, then continue the movement up to that point. And let's see whether we even have any harmonic pattern that have surfaced around there for Euro GDP pair. Okay, I think it is much more clear here. It's much more clearer. So we are going to no harmonic pattern yet. And then after some time, we should be able to see one harmonic pattern that will give us a sell further around here. So there's every tendency that Euro GDP may first come here and then give us a sell signal that is going to be taking us all the way down. So for me, I'll be looking forward to a sell on Euro GDP. This needs to go up a little since we don't have an anomaly pattern yet. So I'm looking forward to a sell around here, but the sell is not going to be sweet. The best one is when we have price coming up down here. When we have price coming down here, that is going to be the best one that we should be looking for. So for Euro GDP, I would say that I would prefer to look for buy when price gets here, but we can sell and buy all depends how many pips that's supposed to give. Maybe around 45 pips. It's not that so good compared to about 100. So let's see how it goes. But for me, I think I'll prefer the buy for that pair. So the next one there is Euro. Okay, we've talked of Euro USD, Euro GDP, Euro JPY. The remaining card for card seems to be what do you call it? Seems to be I've been weak for some little time, but I think it may just want to pull back a little around here. It may want to pull back a little around this point before continuing the sell structure. So for card, I'll be looking forward to US dollar card. When US dollar become very strong, I will be looking forward to price getting here for a proper sell. But if that doesn't happen, a card becomes very strong immediately at market open, then you should expect price to come all the way to this point. At that time, that is when we'll be looking for the next price action. But for me, I think that we are currently going to be having some sideways movement. And we'll be looking for getting in with the harmonic pattern. But for now, we should be looking for buy and then later on sell. So for US dollar card, buy. And then the next one right here should be GDP card. For GDP card, I feel that for GDP card, we should be looking for sell when GDP is very weak. The reason is because, right here is in a kind of a double top formation where there's a rejection around there on a daily time frame. So we should be looking for sell structure on the lower time frame around that point. So for GDP card sell. And then the next one is Euro yen, card yen, sorry. So for card yen, I'm not sure I want to be in this trade or want to take it at all. But if I'm going to be taking one option, I think that I'll prefer to buy this than to sell it. But most likely, if yen becomes very strong and expected compared to card, then you can have much more flush downwards right here. So I'll just put it at neutral. So for me, for card yen, should be neutral. Then Euro card. So for Euro card, what do we have here? Euro card. Okay, we have a structure that is at a very strong resistance level, and there's every tendency that we may want to sell around here. And so if card becomes very strong and we're expecting euro to be weak, this is going to be giving us a very good sell opportunity. So for me, for that one, for euro card, I'll be looking for sell. Then the next one right there should be Swiss francs. So for Swiss francs, have been going strong all this while. I'm even surprised how strong it has been. And maybe we want to retest that high. I'm not sure about that, but it seems to be that there's going to be some expected pullback around here, or possibly price first getting to that top before pulling back. So for me, I would expect maybe some little strength to retest this high and then price eventually coming all the way down. And especially we have an harmonic pattern that is giving us a sell around that same zone. So let's go to US dollar squeeze and see if we can have a clearer view of price expectation. So if market open and Swiss francs will remain strong, you should expect price to come all the way down to this point, completing, giving us some kind of diagonal structure within that area. So we should be looking for buy when price gets to that point. So I'll be interested in a buy around here when price get there. So for US dollar squeeze, should buy. Then the next one right there is GDP Swiss. GDP Swiss right here has been trading sideways. It has been trading sideways all this while. And then remember that pounds may not be strong. Pounds may actually go weak. And then Swiss francs too. Eventually, if it first becomes strong, may have price coming all the way to this point, to this area, to this support zone, which we can then look for buy setup later on. So I'll be much more interested in the buy than the sell for that pair. So should be interested in buy here. Then the next one is Swiss yen. So for Swiss yen, which is this, we should be looking for sell if, because we're expecting yen to gain some strength, we should be looking for sell around this area. So for Swiss yen, I'm looking for to sell it. Then the next one is Euro Swiss. I don't trade that at all. CAD Swiss, I don't trade that. The next one is AUD USD. So for Aussie, we're expecting some weaknesses on this pair, but it's looking more likely that it may first show some strength before having weakness. So when it gets to this point, we will know. So when it gets here, since we have an harmonic pattern already surfacing, we will know. So immediate reaction is some kind of weakness, and then after that, we may get some strength. So the strength most likely maybe retesting this zone back before we eventually start coming down. So I would check AUD USD right now. AUD USD should be here. Okay, so for that, we are in a very strong resistance level. And it means that if USD become very strong, we may have price coming all the way down. But for the time being, when Aussie becomes very weak, we may have price reacting around here. So I'm looking for a proper sell for this pair around this point. So for AUD USD, I'm looking forward to a sell. And then for GDP AUD, I'm also looking forward to, GDP is going to be weak at some point, and also possibly AUD, but most likely maybe Aussie will be stronger than weak and than GDP. So I think that we should be looking forward to a sell up to this level. So it's most likely going to be a range-bound trading or sideways correction for that pair. So if you are going to be in a trade, you don't want to hold it for long. You're going to be giving it about maybe 140 pips in total. But then the bias for me is to sell that pair. So GDP AUD sell. And then the next one should be AG. So for Australian Japanese yen, this has been trading sideways right here. It has been trading a very tight. I've not been on this trade for some while. So I've been trading a very tight sideways correction. So, but most likely it's going to go up at some point. But if yen becomes very, very weak, we should expect price to come all the way. We should expect price to come all the way to somewhere around here. If yen becomes very strong, we should expect price to come all the way to somewhere around here. At that point, that's when we'll be looking forward to buying or selling it. So for me, I'm going to continue to remain neutral on that pair. Then the next one is Euro AUD. For Euro AUD, we should be looking forward to selling that pair when price gets to this zone. So for Euro AUD, I'll be looking forward to selling that. Euro New Zealand too, almost similar structure. Euro New Zealand, we should be looking forward to selling it somewhere around here, bearing it in mind that price actually came down and then is moving in a sideways correction, most likely coming all the way to this top and then coming down here, giving us this harmonic pattern later on. But that will be later. But for now, we should be looking forward to selling that here. So we'll be looking forward to selling that. Then GJ, I think GJ, I may have skipped GJ. For GDP JPY, that would have been a sell around this point. So let me just update that to be a sell. Then pounds New Zealand. For pounds New Zealand, are we done with Australian odd card? So for odd card, I don't usually trade that, but if you are going to, I remain neutral on this anyway. But if you are going to be able to do anything, price may most likely come here since it's moving sideways and then going all the way to that top. So the overall bias for this one is buy. Is buy. So GDP New Zealand, for New Zealand, let's look at what we have on New Zealand. For New Zealand, price is in a very tight area, and then we may first have this weakness before we then eventually decide whether to go up or down. But this is first set of weakness that may be expected there. And it's also being backed by no fundamental for this week. No fundamental support for this week. So I should be looking forward to New Zealand USD. So for New Zealand USD, we should be looking for a sell. But the sell is not that so, it's not going to be immediate. So I feel that price may most likely first come to retest this zone before we eventually get that sell. So if you want to sell it, you want price to give you some kind of fake out around here before looking for the sell. So for New Zealand USD, sell. And then for GDP New Zealand, that should be a sell around here, after which we will decide what next. So, but the overall trading bias seems to be buy. So I'll be looking forward to buying it when price gets here. So if price gets here, I want to buy it. So for me, GDP New Zealand should be buy. Should be buy. Then for gold has been, I gave the signals in the channel not quite long where we bought a little before it eventually sold back. So it has been in a minor support zone, and then the price action on the higher time frame still shows that there may be some up movement. But if USD becomes very strong, you may expect price to eventually flush all the way down to this area. So we'll be looking out to that. If price gets here and doesn't break above it, then it means that we should be having a sell structure. We should be having a sell structure coming all the way down to that point. So if USD becomes strong, I'll be looking forward to selling. This. Then US dollar 30, US dollar, that's NASDAQ. US dollar has been weak, which explains why US 30 has been kind of strong. And so for this level, we may have a little reaction on there. But I'm looking at possibly price coming all the way down, coming all the way to test this top because it broke out of the structure. So for US 30, I would say that we are going to be looking forward to selling it when price get here. Otherwise, nothing. I said you want to, jump in the middle, but even if you want to buy it, you want to wait for price to come here before getting a buy. But for me, I'll be looking forward to selling it when price gets to that top. NASDAQ. For NASDAQ too, almost the same structure, and then it's currently at a resistance level which seems to be breaking. So at the at the open of the market, we'll know whether it's actually going to be buying up or not. But as it is, it seems to see this as a fake out, and then price may most likely sell off after some time. But for me, I'm out of that totally. So then for US oil has been in a support zone all this while, and I will expect some much more sideways correction on this. So being that also neutral. So that is that for today's market analysis outlook. Don't forget to like and share, and then you can also join the WhatsApp channel. The link is dropped in the description of this video. And then also for those that want to be part of the training, you can also DM me. The room is still very much available. So have a great week, guys, and my regards. Bye.